Hey there folks, and welcome to this video. For the month of June, in accordance with it being Pride Month, I am dedicating Sunday videos to talk about motorsports in relation to the LGBT plus community. If you'd like to see last week's video, you can find it in the description section down below. One of the things talked about when considering LGBT plus representation in motorsport is the overwhelming lack of it. As of this recording, the Wikipedia category LGBT racing drivers has 15 entries. They do come from multiple disciplines, Mike Butler and Leland Barney from F1, Charlie Martin and Hurley Hayward from sports car and endurance, and then Sarah Moore and Abby Eaton who made the switch from sports cars to single-seaters thanks to the W Series. This then prompts a question: can one implement measures to further the representation of LGBT plus motorsports athletes? I'd personally say no. Or at least not at the moment. There are a few reasons for this. Chief among these is the culture surrounding motorsport more generally, though. There is a lack of representation for people who do not openly fit the cisgender heterosexual white man profile in the high levels of motorsport. Plus, there are still debates over such matters as grid girls, which I'd say shows how far motorsport still has to come in many aspects to socially liberalise properly. In my opinion, it's very much the case that until other groups who do not follow the white man part of this profile have representation in motorsport athletes, these widespread initiatives exclusively promoting LGBT plus athletes cannot be brought to the forefront. That's not to undermine any LGBT plus athletes currently competing or attempting to compete in motorsport. It's to make sure that other underrepresented or otherwise disadvantaged groups are not overlooked or undermined in order for the LGBT plus community to benefit. But I do believe there's a way to increase and promote LGBT plus representation in motorsport, and that's intersectionality. Now, intersectionality is the interconnected nature of social categorizations such as race, class, and gender as they apply to a given individual or group, regarded as creating overlapping and interdependent systems of discrimination or disadvantage. But how could this help in motorsport? Well, for intersectionality, one could belong to multiple underrepresented or otherwise disadvantaged groups. The currently active athletes I named, Eaton, Martin, and Moore, are all women. And the fact that two of these women, Eaton and Moore, are competing in the W Series is an example of what I'm talking about. As women who belong to the LGBT plus community, they are able to make the most of initiatives that are eligible for as women and are also able to use a platform to raise LGBT plus representation in motorsport too. Now, you may have noticed that the people that I've listed are very white. That's because, at least not publicly or with a high profile, I couldn't find an LGBT plus motorsports athlete who is both out and also either of a mixed ethnicity or non-white heritage. I mean, for all we know, Lewis Hamilton could come out as LGBT plus, which, as well as potentially making Lewis Seb fanfics a reality, would be a massive boost to LGBT plus representation in motorsport. And that would be especially the case if the driver is both high profile and active. But I would argue it's more likely to happen, if it would happen, after they retire. And that's a big thing when it comes to the LGBT plus community. There's every chance that a high profile athlete is currently actively racing and part of the community. But the thing is, they'd be closeted, not publicly out. And that's because of different societal standards that the athletes are held to compared to people such as mechanics, the media, and team management. I mean, you remember at the top of the video I said currently publicly out. This is the problem. It's also partially the same reason drivers get backlash for speaking about racism and Black Lives Matter, something that I've covered in a couple of other videos that, again, you can find in the description section down below. Also, due to a lack of other diversity in the high levels of motorsport, it's made all the more difficult. That's due to toxic masculinity, the air of it that's presumed present in the fan base, and as a result could be reflected between the drivers. Either from a fear of how fans react to them being out, or how they would be treated more generally for it. Over time, I reckon it will be less of an issue, and maybe we'll have more F1 drivers and WRC drivers or alike coming out while at the top. But right now I don't think there's much of an atmosphere that will allow it, which is a massive shame. So yeah, I think intersectionality is the best way forward at the moment. Typically fans, teams, sponsors and the like are likely to be more progressive in series like the W Series, and If we can have successful competitors in these initiatives that bring LGBT plus athletes to the fore, one can hope that graduates from these series, programs, and initiatives will make the step up to top flight series, such as openly out LGBT plus athletes. Thank you so much for watching. It's meant a lot to me to be able to sit down and make videos like this. I've had a really long and really tiring day where I was meant to do 3 streams and 3 videos, and I'm just about finishing the 3rd video at the time where it's now no longer possible for me to do either of the other 2 streams. But yeah, as someone who's LGBT plus himself, I don't think that there is currently an atmosphere that allows for us to be exclusively promoted, like there be an LGBT plus athlete series. Not because I think there's a lack of people, but because I don't think people will react positively. That's why I love things like the W series, because you can have women who are out as gay, and if the opportunity allows it, women who are out as trans competing for it. It's the best way through right now. And I mean, if you think about the people I'm talking about, people like Lella Lombardi, they were high profile for being a woman, but then were also remembered for being LGBT plus. And that's why I think something like Intersectionality works. Or at least right now. Maybe when motorsport fans, sporting fans more generally, are, and it pains me to say this, okay with the athletes being gay, or trans, or otherwise gender or sexually non-conforming to the cishet narrative. Yeah, I think until we change the standard in that I think we'll see so many people coming up openly out. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this, please let me know, because it takes a long time for me to make these. I sit down for a couple of days, write a lengthy script, and it's something that I love doing, and something that I will continue doing because it's something that I love doing. But it's made all the better when somebody turns around and says, this was actually a lot of fun to watch, this was really insightful, I really enjoyed it. So thank you, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye for now.